really fun fight with two high level strikers. But Bobby Green does have the wrestling advantage that he might be able to use, like Dan Hooker used against Nasrat Haqparast to win this fight. So Bobby Green is an awesome guy to watch. He has that funky style where he very very slick on the feet, and he's really reinvented himself. I mean, if you look back, he had a period of time where he beat Josh Thompson, and again, he's been in the game forever. He went on. He lost to Edson Barbosa. Then he took 2 years off. Then he got finished by Dustin Poirier. Then he lost to Rashid Magomedov by a split decision. Then he had a split decision loss to Lando Venata. Then he beat Eric Koch, who I don't even know who that is. Then he lost to Derek Drakarkos by unanimous decision, and Francisco Trinaldo by unanimous decision. So it was like he was on a really bad. And honestly, it had to have been a must-win for him for when he fought Clay Guida. I actually had made money on him against Clay Guida. Then he proceeded to beat Lando Venata, Alan Patrick. Then he had 2 losses where he actually looked good in both of them. That actually raised his stock. Thiago Moises is a solid prospect. I know Islam Makhachev absolutely destroyed them, and then Joel Alvarez destroyed him. But those guys are absolutely amazing on another level. Thiago Moises is a solid-ass fighter. It's unfortunate that as a prospect he had to fight these killers, and now he's kind of not really not longer a prospect. But he's very solid. I mean, he looked great against Alexander Hernandez, who's fighting actually at the bottom of this card. He had a big drop-off. And then he looked great against Rafael Fiziev. It's funny, when I think some people thought, including myself, I'm like, oh, since Fiziev didn't look as good as Bobby Green, that it's almost like a knock on Fiziev, which is not the case. I mean, he knocked out Brad Riddell, who's absolutely incredible, out of a great camp where Idrisu Adesanya trains, out of City Kickboxing in New Zealand. He proceeded to absolutely destroy Iaquinta, a guy who fought for the title. Very solid guy. I know people are saying Iaquinta was coming off a few losses. That's true, but again, that was to Donald Cerrone, Dan Hooker, and Bobby Green. And after losing to Habib, he beat Kevin Lee, who's very freaking good. So that's always, and he destroyed, Iaquinta. And although Iaquinta said, he no longer wanted to fight anymore, based on his performance, but still. Now, you guys can already see that I'm going to be picking Bobby Green for this fight. But let's see Nasrat Haqparast. He trains with the great Faraz Sahabi, who trained George St. Pierre. Actually, unfortunately, out of TriStar, there hasn't been too many winners coming out in recent years, which hopefully is going to change soon. But Nasrat's a solid fighter. He was actually a big favorite against Drew Dober, and he actually kind of dropped the ball. He got knocked out real quick. Then he proceeded by beating Alexander Munoz and Rafa Garcia. And then he proceeds to lose that fight to Dan Hooker. And Dan Hooker has been kind of on the losing streak, but he's still a very solid fighter. He's been just fighting straight killers. What was I going to say? Oh, yeah. So I felt like Dan Hooker almost like Nasrat almost kind of, I don't want to say he gave up, but it looks like, it looks like I don't know if he was necessarily swinging for the fences at the end of that fight. I'm trying to remember. But all I know is I believe Dan Hooker dominated with his wrestling, and I think that people forget that Bobby Green started off as a wrestler, and I think he's going to dominate and or at least outstrike him. But I think the play is Bobby Green by decision, even though that's kind of what the expected victory. If you look, that's the one with the least odds. Bobby Green by decision of plus 140. But honestly, I mean, I don't see him knocking out Nasrat. I mean, I guess he can. I mean, that would be quite a statement if he does. I mean, I guess, unless you want, let's see. If there's double chance, let's see if you pick. Let's see Bobby Green by KO TKO decision. I mean, you're not really getting much better than minus. I mean, you could either grab him at minus 140 because I mean there is a shot he can win by knockout. Nasrat's been knocked out before, but I think Nasrat's pretty tough now, and I don't think he's necessarily going to get knocked out. And I think Bobby could use his wrestling to win, or he could just outstrike him. We'll see. But I think it's Bobby by decision as the play, or just Bobby money line. I do like Nasrat a lot. He's an awesome guy, and the fact that he took the fight in short notice against Dan Hooker when his father, I think his father passed away. Just what a legend, what an amazing guy. And again, trained by the great Faraz Sahabi. So either way, again, I hope that Bobby wins by decision because again I like both guys. But I think, I do think that that's kind of the play. Although, on the other hand, you could think about it. Nasrat's young, 26. He's going to be getting better. in leaps and bounds. Although Bobby could say that maybe he's more of putting his skills together. I don't know if he's necessarily getting better by leaps and bounds, but he's definitely putting his skills together. I don't know if he's acquiring new skills, but maybe just the fact that him putting everything together is almost at the same level as like acquiring new skills. But regardless, it should be an interesting fight, and I'm excited to see it. Thank you guys for watching. Please like and subscribe, and I do appreciate all the support. Thank you so much.